Welcome to the race. We're just starting the formation lap for Division 2 of New Horizons Racing League in Bahrain. And just see Tommy and Robot collide off the line. What's that? I'm just trying to say how to say that name. Gussie Rex? Strange gamer tags people are coming up with today. But yeah, we've just had qualifying. I believe everyone is starting on the soft tyres. Just double check that actually. One. The two guys that did not participate in qualifying will be starting on the soft tyres. It won't be over for them. If they probably wish to have a better chance in the race, they should probably one stop. As said in qualifying, it will save them about 20 seconds. So the circuit, approved in 2002, finished in 2004, ready just in time for the race, and I think it was the fastest Formula 1 circuit ever built. And actually, the Turn 1 being designed by Michael Schumacher after the original plan for Turn 1 was deemed by Schumacher to be not challenging enough. So whenever these guys run through the original Turn 1, you're actually running through the original gravel trap. If you see a little tarmac runoff just after the exit of the pit lane, I believe that was where the original Turn 1 was supposed to be. Seeing those two getting very close. Tapos, you need to calm down, mate. And the tower up at Turn 1 is hosted for the employees of the circuit, a few Bahraini stock delegates, the royals, and management of the circuit. And also with the circuit being made by the King of Bahrain, for the King of Bahrain, I mean, if you're royal, why wouldn't you have a private circuit? Just trying to get the right camera angle for lights out. There we go. Lights out and we are away now. Pretty bad start for the Ferrari at the back. There's a Mercedes run onto the grass. We'll get through Turn 1 in one piece. Not too bad at all. No one really running into each other. Pretty tidy first few corners actually. With the Force India and the Ferrari at the back. We're all snaking the way up through Turn 4. So I'm on board with Tommy, who I believe is actually Jump Robot at the start. Oh, but that Red Bull looks like it's suffering with a bit of understeer. Oh, and he's locked up. That's going to give Robot the chance to get back at him. Yeah, I believe Tommy is running with his ABS off in order to try and improve his braking around a few corners. But Collins at the lead is not really storming ahead as much as I thought he was going to. Votive's actually keeping it within a second. But through the infamous Turn 14. Oh, and Force India's gone. Sorry I wasn't able to catch that. We've got Robot fighting back at the Red Bull. Something to give each other space. Oh, this is going to be a hell of a move if he pulls it off. Oh, slight contact. With this being the New Horizons feeder division, we're expecting these guys to still adhere by the same rules, but also we'll take on anyone to try and help improve the racing. That's a horrible camera angle for what I'm trying to look for. Tommy is still ahead. So yeah, these guys can bang wheels as much as they want. You probably won't be friends with a lot of them, but everyone's got to at some point. Even the guys in the lower formulas hoping to get into Formula 1. You might see a few scraps here and there, you'll see a bit of contact, but they still learn through the penalties and experience. And Tommy is Red Bull looking very, very understeery. So the closest battle on track. So I think the Ferrari's getting quite close together as well. But I believe Gus Rex is without a setup, having missed the cut-off time for qualifying. which we will rectify for next week. No, he's just not been able to catch him. I don't know why the throw in front of him looks like he's trying to defend. Yeah, this Ferrari is about as aerodynamically efficient as a brick, running with the 6.6 wing setup. See Robot and Tommy. I think these guys are going to make a fantastic season out of this. Big lock up. Oh, will he? Has he done it? Yeah, he's done it. There's no reason why Tommy won't be able to get the fight back. Also DRS enabled now, and I believe Colin's setting the fastest lap. These two side by side. Into turn 1. Locking up again! That's going to kill his tyres, especially with being on the supers. I think I estimate... Oh, watch out guys. I think I estimated the super softs around here to wear at about 10% every lap. So with him locking up, he's going to cook his tyres by about lap 6. In which case, I'd say definitely go into the mediums, mate. Oh no, he spun him! Robots in the wall. I caught that. That'll be investigated by the stewards. Trying to see... I don't believe he has any wing damage, and I know Robot's more than capable of being able to rescue this for his race. Tadpole's trying to finish what the Renault couldn't. We're already on lap 3 out of 29. This is serving up a pretty fantastic race so far. See Collins in the distance first place, around 3 seconds ahead of Vota Basher in the Sauber, and Tadpole's taking turn 14 very, very cautiously. But he's not going to get the drive out of turn 15 to close upon the Red Bull. Collins setting the new fastest out with the 132.4. Tommy going into the pits. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually fried his tyres. They look like, I'd probably say around the 50% mark. Going to the softs. If I was Tommy, I definitely would 2-stop, but I would probably pit onto another set of softs or mediums, because I don't believe the softs will be able to go any further than 15 laps. But still, he makes it back onto the circuit. Robot Boy within almost 1.5 seconds of Gussie Rex. He's going to be a man on the charge. Robot Boy having made his New Horizons debut in the first division earlier. I would say earlier this year, but it was actually towards the back end of 2018. I believe his best finish was 4th. So he's going to be fuming to get a podium. He's been gagging for a podium, bless him, in his New Horizons career so far. But as long as he can keep overtaking people like this, pretty tidy. Also the super softs probably helping him. I wonder if how much tyre wear he actually got compared to Tommy. Because I know Tommy is like frying his tyres with his ABS off, but I think Robot would have been fine if it was just a tiny little tap out incident. See the guys messaging in the chat. I wish for the future that they do not do that, as it's unfair on the drivers that do actually race. Oh, everyone's coming into the pits. Is that the top 3? Tadpoles, Bradley and Robot coming in to change their tyres. I think that's a little bit early. I would actually recommend you guys trying to go longer on your tyres. Actually try and manage heavy tyre wear. Don't just go, oh, the grip's fallen away in pit. No, because you can gain so much track position by staying out for long. Now since Robot's fitted tyres that matches his car, and he's within close proximity of 3 cars around him, so he should be able to catch it. I think a respectable position again today for Robot would end up being 4th place. Although, personally, my heart would go out for him to be on the podium. He used to be doing very well at the front to actually still manage the tyres on the super softs. I'm surprised no one's actually made any major mistake through the auto spin curve on the right hand side. I guess it's still early days with it being only 5 laps in, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, robot all over Bradley. Oh, it's gone a little bit deep. Get that stopped. Runs wide, but yeah, and that's going to affect his drive. Oh, but I wonder if he's running a different differential setting. Careful, Bradley, that's a bit over defending there. Oh, very scrappy driving from the Ferrari driver. But Robot gets it done. Unfortunately, I don't think it was probably the most sporting moves in terms of Bradley's defensive driving. Votive stopping for the soft tyres now, which leaves Collins, the only driver on track, not to pit yet. See if Bradley can close in on the Renault. Let's try and hope his attack driving's a little bit better than his defensive. I mean, I don't know how experienced most of these guys are, but it's why they're here, to try and get the experience and hopefully try and get them noticed if they wish to continue their league racing careers. Turn 4 pretty steady. Is Robot pulling away? Yeah. Robot's pulling away now, he's getting himself some clear air, and now Robot can begin to attack his fellow Slavic mate of Tadpoles. Tadpole's having a pretty lonely race, being 12 seconds behind 4th place Tommy. Tommy's not doing too bad now. I say that as he runs wide, but yeah, as I can't imagine Tommy's still doing the 1-stop. I know the tyre life, but I'm actually thinking if he might need to 3-stop if he can't keep his tyre management under control. Collins in the pits. Comes out of pit lane onto softs. I guess he has track position, but that's just going to come down to how close these guys can get together and end up racing each other. See, Tommy should be gaining on that Ferrari, and he is. Gustarex in AI mode for some reason. Might be changing a few assist settings. But yeah, look, when you're in AI mode, just the speed you can catch up to is phenomenal. But still, that back end on the Red Bull seems to be letting down a tiny bit of contact. And he only just gets it stopped in time. Go on DRS. I'm not expecting the Ferrari to fight him back. Oh, but Tommy's still letting himself down with the tyre locking. But he's managing to pull away quite well. Let's ride on board with Robot now. Get the fastest lap of the 132.1. If these guys do wish to go for the fastest lap award, they will receive 1 point. Someone's gone off. Is that a glitch, or is that a Ferrari trying to destroy itself? Still Robot Boy now, all over his previous teammate. Through the action zone of turn 1, get it stopped in time. Oh no! Very scrappy driving from the Renault driver. I'm happy that he didn't actually follow through with that move through turn 1, otherwise I would have asked him to give it back. But yeah, that wasn't on by Robot. I think him and Tommy are going to be under investigation after this race. Tadpole's actually doing quite well to keep up with him. I think now that he's got Robot with him, he's just going to try and be staying with his racing line. Let's trying to say, yeah, Tadpoles looks like... No, I thought he was on a wheel with how smooth his wheel was moving, but it looks like he's on a pad. Does he have DRS? Yeah, he does. He's still not able to close the gap to the Renault. Collins setting a fast lap now with the 132.1. Collins also setting pole position. He takes the first points for Division 2. If any of you guys are going to watch back, I'll probably mention it in the chat afterwards anyway, but in Division 2 we have 2 points for pole position and a point for fastest lap. Also a few extra prizes throughout the season. And if the guys want to make it into Division 1, then they have to prove themselves here first, but already some guys already from Division 1 in here, and some drivers already showing pedigree for Division 1. If you wish to take part in that, then just hit me up and we can sort something out, and we have more prestigious prizes as Tadpoles loses it through turn 3 again. I think that's with the Mercedes riding on the exit curb. It's actually easier to do, well, it's an easy mistake to make more than you actually realise, because the curb is just so bumpy, and if you don't get your line right through turn 2, you have no choice but to run over that curb. Trying to see now, I'm keeping an eye on the gap between Collins and first place, because Collins at the start race initially had first place. I wonder if it's the different engine modes everyone's running in. I can see that Collins is in ERS mode number 2, which he'll be going quite conservative at the minute. Can't see what Votive's using for the Sauber, but I can see it going down, so I think Votive's gap is due to his high engine mode. But I know Collins quite well, and he's going to be clawing his way to try and get back into first place, as any driver should be doing. But you're not going to catch him quick if you keep mounting those curbs. Another thing that I noticed from going to these kind of circuits, I've realised that some FIA grade circuits, the curbs, especially on the apex, they're actually a foot tall. If you knock into them at the right angle in real life, you could probably actually break your suspension. I think they're far too harsh. I don't know what kind of cars the track organisers think that you can ride over those curbs, unless the plan is to send the cars into a barrel roll. But Collins is slowly gaining on first place. I think he's actually taken a second out of him. I wonder if I think the Sauber's on a recharge lap. There's 2 seconds now. Collins go through the final corner. Obviously he won't be close enough for DRS in this run, but I'm going to ride on board with him, see how much he can close the gap in a straight line. He should be having a mild effective slipstream. Setting the fastest lap, that is going to probably send chills through Votive's spine. And a pretty tidy turn 1 to help him out as well. But I think Votive got a better exit initially. He was just 2 tenths up through that first couple of corners. Robot Boy now gaining on Gusserex. He might actually have DRS here. No, he doesn't. I'm just going to stick here for a minute because I can see Tadpoles as well. Oh no, Robot. You need to make corners a bit better than that. Love how the main straight's providing all the action for us so far. Will it be aggressive defending for... Oh, Tadpoles is just gone. I don't know what he was trying to do there. He was on for potentially a decent points finish today. But that leaves the Ferrari Bradley all alone with about 15 seconds behind the rest of the pack. Is Gus Rex still in AI mode or not? Because if he's not trying, then it really isn't fair. It might explain why he's not catching up to Robot Boy. So I will tell me you haven't seen him for a while yet. So 20 odd seconds behind leaders. Collins now getting another fastest lap going for Votive. Be more sensible. And where are they? Oh no, contact. I was about to say that was very mature driving between the two, but I think the spatial awareness, especially through what is the tightest part of the circuit, needs to be looked at a bit better between the two. Like I said, there wasn't really anything majorly wrong. You can bang wheels, but you probably won't have a lot of friends. Votive getting a great run on him though, coming through. Coming up to turn 9, I believe it is. He actually gets in front. Quite impressive driving. Both cars pretty steady through turn 11. If you really mess it up, you'll find yourself in the wall next to the drag strip, which I thought was actually just the pit lane. Oh no, Collins. I'm half saying that was Collins' fault, but also the half racing incident. That was Collins just outbraking himself, but it's how his car ended up. And Votive just running into the back of him. I wonder if the Saubers actually got wing damage from that. These two are actually throwing up an amazing battle so far. It's just a shame the rest of the field can't keep up with it. Oh no, is he touched? So, no contact as of yet. And probably will be more contact heading down into turn 1. DRS on the Sauber. Will Harley be sensible or just try it up the straight? No, he's going to go for it. He is a racer. The banging wheels again. This is like Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton moments. They are fighting for the win though. The only guys on track that are realistically fighting for the win. I think there's damage that just came off the Sauber. Ah, no guys, come on. Need to be a little more sensible than that. Pretty steady through sector 2. I believe I'm starting sector 2. Coming to turn 11 again. Oh, I thought he was going to run into the back of him there. Still only half a second between them. The fact that they've been going at this for at least 7 laps now, it's quite remarkable how they actually haven't properly taken each other out. Or is this a sign that there's going to be a hideous accident at some point? Having raced in Division 1 with Collins around this circuit, Collins previous winner of the Bahrain Grand Prix with New Horizons, after myself and him made contact through that infamous turn 14-15 section. I believe Collins, I don't even remember if Collins ran onto the auto spin curb. I think he just span him his rear end round, and then I was that close enough that I ended up T-boning him. Collins then reversed onto the circuit and then took out another driver that was behind him in a pretty spectacular accident. I'm surprised that Votive's round. Was that actually a corner cut penalty? Doing donuts won't get you onto the racing line, mate. You need to try and sort that out very quickly. Such a shame. That was an amazing battle there. The Robot now catching up to Tommy in fight for his debut podium. Robot Boy also taking part in that Division 1 race back in November. How much would a season's worth of experience have helped him in this race? I think it's doing him well so far. At least it's still in with a shout of a podium. Tiny late apex and running himself out a little bit wide. Yeah, Robot's not doing too bad so far. And I'm just trying to see if the tyre condition of the Sauber, yeah, that turn 1 spin hasn't helped him whatsoever. Yeah, so as I was saying with the incident with Collins in our previous Division 1 race, he backed into a driver, completely by accident. The corner was blind, but the driver who got taken out, he was completely fine with it. So big up for him for being a good sportsman. I guess it can happen though. It is racing after all. Connor's pretty much settled in with the lead of this race. Although I think within the possibly the last 10 laps of this race, he's going to maybe need to pit again, because I could see graining on those tyres. Gusserek's going on the mediums, which I think is probably the most sensible thing for him to do. If anyone, all he has to do now is anyone around him, if they pit, he will gain 20 seconds track position, which still should put him in a shout for 5th place. Bradley doing quite well. I think the Ferrari guys are just having a nice cruise around. It just hasn't been their day today. They've struggled a bit in testing, and yeah, I think they're just here along for the ride, but I hope they have fun while they're doing it. Robot Boy within 1.5 seconds behind Tommy. So Collins making the infamous corner quite well. Referee votive. Yeah, it's just that I just don't know why Codemasters have brought that into this game. It's the same at Spa, and it's the same at a few other circuits on the calendar, where if you run wide or if you put excessive loads on the car, you're just going to spin off into nowhere. I don't know why they're doing it. Oh, Robot Boy within 3/10. Oh, not the place you want to be making the overtake though. Well, I guess you could. Oh, Tommy running wide. This is going to give Robot the best run on him. Tommy actually being a very sensible racer in pre-season testing as well, but no points for testing. Just confidence and the drive to get around your rivals, and Robot Boy actually doing a very sensible job. DRS assisted. These are very aggressive defending from Robot, but also very aggressive attacking from Tommy. Will he get the move into turn 1? Oh no, it's very tight. That's actually probably the overtake of the day, in my opinion. We're on lap 16 out of 29 for New Horizons Bahrain Grand Prix. Your top 8 positions are Collins in the Mercedes in P1, Vota Basher in the Sauber in P2, Tommy Ketchup in P3 for Red Bull, Robot Boy 141 in Renault in 4th place. We have Bradley in the Ferrari for P5, and Gusserek in Ferrari for P6. The non-finishers so far are Tadpoles in Mercedes and Owen in the Force India in 8th place, who, obviously, having missed qualifying, his setup was just not up to standard with the rest of the guys on the grid. And it practically race over when you don't have the right setup on, but as I said, we will rectify a proper race time for next week. I believe some of the guys in the lobby jumped the gun of just saying they were ready up, and then it started the countdown to ready up for the race. And then Tadpoles, I don't know why Tadpoles did what he did, having crashed himself out at turn 1. He was in a shout of actually 5th place today, so it's disappointing for him, but I'm also disappointed about him. I was hoping that he'd actually be able to finish the race, and Tommy into the pits. Oh, and Robot Boy making the last decision to pit as well. I don't think anyone actually getting a pit limiter penalty. We're gonna have to see if that penalty is actually on. Obviously, Tommy being ahead in the pits, he has jumped the Renault. Surprising we've still got this far into the race and no one else has actually made a serious mistake so far. Yep, that is enabled because Bradley's just got a 5-second stop go for speeding in the pit lane. That's probably going to help his teammate. Let's see, let's ride on board with the Ferrari. Let's see where it can come out. Everyone going for another set of soft tyres? Yeah, I guess it is the most sensible call. There's the other Ferrari. It's actually at the end of the pit lane. Bradley being overtaken by his teammate, having that speed limit penalty. He's just not making turn 1 properly. Oh, there's a fight for the lead. Well, with Collins coming into the pits on the medium. Oh, mate, I won't go for the mediums unless you've actually ran out of soft tyres. Or Votive as well into the pits. On the soft tyres, Collins might have made a strategy mistake here. So right on Robot Boy with Tommy. They're both on the soft tyres. I guess it depends how much fuel and ERS they've got. Yeah, I can tell Robot Boy he is in attack mode. No Formula E reference. But yeah, he's done very well so far in this race. And still give it to the guy that actually took you out. But hopefully you can keep a cool head. Oh, Tommy, 3-second penalty for corner cutting. Yeah, all Robot just needs to do, there's about 11 laps of the race left. Just be very sensible. He's got the tyre life to do it. I'm confident that he'll be able to do it, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to do it. Just going to ride on board with Votive, because him and Collins are fighting for the lead. Obviously, the tyre life of the softs expected between 12 and 15 laps. Votive's got to get past Collins now and actually manage his gap toward the end of the race, because Collins can kill his mediums as much as he likes. I think mediums can actually last probably, yeah, around 18 laps, so Collins is going to be perfectly fine for tyre wear, but it just depends if Votive's softs are going to let him down towards the end of the race. He goes for the move. There's a late lunge. Collins on the cutback. Fantastic driving between these two. See Robot Boy and Tommy getting close together again. So we've got too many battles on track so far. Gus Rex, yeah, he's been passed by his Ferrari teammate now. Robot Boy catching into Tommy. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the gap for first place as well. Tommy absolutely murdering turn 1. They're side by side, coming on the exit. Nose to tail into turn 4. He's done. Oh no! Just lunged himself a bit too far. But with them being so close, there's no reason why they can't come back at each other. So I'm on board with these two through the infamous turn 14. Let's have a ride on the curbs quite comfortably. Similar ERS modes there, they must be attacking each other at the same time. Collins using a very wide line on the entry there, that's going to help him with his exit and overall lap time. I like seeing drivers when they experiment with lines like that, but Votive actually getting the fastest lap, I think obviously being in the slipstream of the Mercedes is going to be able to stick it to him. Yeah, Harley just kind of takes it easy through there, and again, he's just going to come back at him through turn 4. Oh, wrong button, sorry. And is that this Saab ahead? Oh no, they're still side by side. Oh, nose to tail. This is not the time of the Grand Prix to get wing damage. Oh, was he spanning? No, contact was definitely made there, but I think that is fine, only being sent into a probably not even a half spin. These two giving everything. It is the win on the line here. I'm not going to tell a racing driver to calm down when he's got the win in his hands. Shame I don't have a co-commentator with me. I could do with a race director and see what penalties everyone's on. I don't think these two are on that many penalties, if they are. The Saab run into the back of the Mercedes. Oh, the Saab's got DRS again. Yeah, he's going to come, and yeah, Collins doing probably the sensible defensive line. You take the racing line off him, that's... Oh no, smashing into him. Oh, he's gone. Is he gone? Oh, he's DNF'd. That is such a shame for Collins. I was going to bump up Robot Boy and Tommy into a guaranteed podium place, but I don't get that. It was this, like, Collins coming back very aggressively at the Sauber. I think actually that, in my opinion so far, after what I've just seen, I believe that was Collins' fault. But I'm going to have to review the footage again and have a look. Tommy again with a 3-second penalty. He's not going to be able to overtake Robot at this point, even if he wants track position. Collins, no bashing in the chat, please. Yeah, I think that might be the race settled for voted basher. That is actually such a shame. A double Mercedes DNF. Well, both of them could have scored a huge amount of points today. Bradley getting past Collins' wrecked Mercedes. I'm actually surprised none of this has actually caused any VSCs or safety cars. Is he doing manual gears? Because he's short shifting. The gearbox and Sauber doesn't really sound too healthy. So we're on board with the Ferrari. The Ferrari is still not really gaining. I think Gussarex might actually be in AI mode still. Which if he is, I'll be having words about that. You can see Votive actually within lapping distance of the Ferrari. So I'd board with Tommy again. Probably the closest actual battle on track, although Robot Boy is actually storming ahead through the second sector. Not a bad race from these two so far. I'm surprised they've managed to keep it so clean. Just have a look. Yeah, interesting to see the guys that might have made 2 stops. I guess a 1 stop would have worked, I just don't know why Gussarex is so far down on pace. Unless he is actually still in AI mode. Cut to leader. See Votive actually with a 30-second lead over Robot Boy in second place. And is that for... yeah, Tommy is 40 seconds behind the leader, and then the 2 Ferraris over a minute and a half behind. So I believe Votive's actually done quite well so far to keep his first place. Having said that, Robot Boy did have a spin early on in the race. He is under investigation with Tommy about that collision. I think the pair of them are having investigations with collisions with each other. So yeah, historically, still with New Horizons, Bahrain's always thrown up a decent race with us. We are on 23 out of 29. So yeah, and the Ferrari of Gussarex has been lapped by Votive by quite a distance as well. Gussarex is actually... sorry about that, I heard someone just joined the chat party. But still, let's kind of have a little bit of a race recap. Qualifying, it was Collins on pole position, and it was a pretty tidy getaway through the first couple of corners, and yeah, it was not necessarily scrappy from first on. The action started happening around lap 7 when people were going for the positions and also having made early pit strategy calls. Most of the grid actually pitting on lap 4 to get rid of their super softs, which I still think everyone could have gone a little bit further. As I said earlier in the race, Robot Boy making contact with Tommy, and Robot Boy ended up going through a spin in the second sector, amazingly without any wing damage. And later in the race we've had Robot Boy and Tommy also bashing into each other at turn 1. It's not necessarily giving themselves wing damage, but they're definitely getting their elbows out with each other. And the two Ferraris have just been kind of cruising around. They've just not really been up to the pace today. It just hasn't been their day so far. I think, yeah, this is probably predictably going to be where they finish. But still, 12 and 22 points for the Ferrari team and the constructors. I thought Votive was actually going to go into the pits there for a second. And Owen DNFing early on because of his ruined setup. Having missed qualifying, he was unable to load setup and his car was basically undrivable around the circuit. Tadpole's getting very frustrated for some reason, which I still think is quite stupid. There was no reason why he should have done that. He was having a perfect battle with one of the Ferraris and he was on for a good points haul today. And then later in the race, quite controversially, with Collins and Votive actually going for the lead of the race, they ended up making contact through turn 1. That incident is still under investigation. It was caught on the stream. Hopefully we'll have the stewards' inquiries. Oh my, that's huge desync. The Ferrari is upside down. I've never ever seen a crash like this on F1 2018. I think the Ferrari has actually found itself again with all 4 wheels on the circuit. Was that desync or... That was just an amazing accident. There was still no damage to the Sauber. That must have been desync. Oh, and Tommy losing it through the second sector, taking out a few of the advertising boards. Can't imagine he's going to be sponsored by them anytime soon. Yeah, his tyres still look quite cooked, but we're almost at the end of the race. Just Votive now starting lap 26 with 4 laps left. I guess the only real battle I can think of at the minute is if Tommy can actually catch up to Robot. Let's see the interval between each other. Yeah, I'm just trying to think if maybe if Robot Boy would have stopped, could have actually been up there with Votive. But either I think he'll be thrilled at the minute is if all the drivers just have to keep the wheels on the tarmac. Not a bad race so far. But yeah, I think we are starting to slowly wind this race down. Stop. Well, that's cool. I've completely forgot about that. Votive, obviously, with the retirement of Collins being up by 1 position, Robot Boy having a pretty decent start, being up by 1 position. I guess they would have all been where they started if Collins wouldn't have DNF'd. The 2 Ferraris are actually doing quite well. The thing is, the only support I can give the Ferrari drivers is, even in league racing, if you're slow, or if you keep making mistakes and making your setups wrong, still keep going. You never give up, because you don't know what's going to happen in the closing stages of a race. You could be possibly 15th, and maybe by the end of the race with crashes and everything, you might get 9th place, for example. But that's just an example. But it's just I keep telling people never give up, because the moment you do give up and you decide it's not worth it, you might as well have never turned up in the first place. I'm sure these guys are going to be on lap. Oh, sorry, I was getting confused of where everyone is on track now. I thought Votive was about to start the penultimate lap. Robot Boy catching up to the car of Gussarex. Will still be classified for 5th place. What I actually want to do is see who has the fastest lap. Votive so far getting the fastest lap. I don't think, unless if anyone wants to box for the last minute and go for the fastest lap point, then that will all be sorted for Votive getting the maximum amount of points for the win of 26 points. Robot Boy actually only about half a second down on that. And then the Ferraris just seem to be struggling a bit, but I'm happy that they're still going for it. They're still going to get points at the end of the day. Tommy, as if there's like a second between Robot and Tommy's fastest lap time. I think that must have been set for them on completely different tyres. But still, we are now on the penultimate lap as Votive goes through turn 4, coming up through the turn 5, turn 6. Yeah, because really see how the tyre wear has affected the softs now. He's going to be nursing them to the line. What would be dire would be for a puncture to happen. I've seen it before where people have pitted not last couple laps, but in the last few laps of a race, being on a very soft compound, the tyres have actually exploded up through the Sector 3 area. It was a very nice line by Votive there. Again, I like it when people explore tracks like this, because if you go in time trial, you actually experiment with placing your car in different areas of the track. You can gain so much time. So I think on pace wise, it's actually very deserved for Votive to actually get the win today. Although both of them are still under investigation with the collision with Collins. All incidents will be investigated after the race, of course. See Robot Boy make through the nasty turn pretty okay. Oh, Tommy again with a penalty. Yeah, that would be down at turn 11. Votive actually now on the last lap of the race. It's only a matter of time before the top 3 end up tasting the rose water. And it is rose water instead of champagne. Because despite the fact that Bahrain being an Islamic country, also being under Sharia law, alcohol is still legal over there because from what I've gathered that they're still really accepting of the Westerners over there. But on the podium ceremony, because what would be the champagne bottles are handed over by the royals, it is illegal for the royals in Bahrain to smell of alcohol. So, which is why they have the rose water in public. I'm sure if the royals wanted to have a drink, they could do it in the privacy of their own place, but it's illegal for them to smell of alcohol in public. There was a funny story that I ended up learning when I was over there with Schumacher. When he first tasted the rose water, he was actually nearly sick. I believe he was actually sick. And Votive weaving toward the line to take the first win of New Horizons Division 2, his first win, and the win around the Bahrain by an absolute, I'm not even joking, probably by about a mile compared to Robot Boy, who's only just coming into the last 2 corners now. Yeah, Bradley being a lap down, having the 5-second penalty for his unserved stop-go. Very solid job. Robot Boy's debut podium with New Horizons Racing League. See if Tommy can make it through the last couple of corners to join him. See where Gus Rex is on track as well. Yeah, it's just right on board with Gus Rex to give him a little bit more airtime. He crosses the line to finish 5th. And now we're just waiting on the Red Bull of Tommy to cross the line into 3rd place. Weaving across the line, that would have been a huge mistake if he would have been that in the wall. But yeah, that's been a pretty decent race by all these guys. So your top 3 finishers are Votive Basher in the Sauber, Robot Boy 141 in the Renault, and Tommy Ketchup in the Red Bull. 3 different constructors on the podium. This could end up being a very interesting season. Also, with it being the shorter calendar, heading to, I believe it's Baku next. With a little custom calendar specifically for the Division 2 guys. And when the screen loads, let's just give one final rundown of the positions. Voted Basher in Alfa Romeo finishing in first, also setting the fastest lap of the race today. Robot Boy 141 in the Renault finishing second. Tommy Ketchup in the Red Bull finishing third. Bradley in the Ferrari finishing fourth, and his teammate Gussarex in the Ferrari finishing fifth. Non-finishers today were Collins in the Mercedes, Tadpoles in the Mercedes after separate crash out incidents, and Owen actually retiring himself on track due to not having, I guess, what we could call the perfect setup. That's it from me. I'll either be in the podium interviews with the guys, or I'll see you next time. Hello everyone, and we're here for the New Horizons Racing League Division 2 podium interviews. Unfortunately, Tommy can't join us because he's had to shoot off, but I'm joined by the top two. So we're going to start with Robot Boy. How was that race for you, mate?
That was a race to remember. Hence, that was just my first podium in the whole entire league, and also there was amazing battles from Tommy and all the lads. Spun out, but then made a massive comeback.
I saw that instant. I thought with you having that happen to you, you did lose about 20 seconds on the lead, and do you think if that wouldn't have happened, do you think you would have been able to fight for the lead today?
I don't think so. Voltiv is a very strong driver, and I think he'd still win the race.
Fair enough then. Overall, what was your opinion on the whole contact with Tommy at the time? Do you think it was any particular driver at fault?
I do believe it. I don't want to sound like it's a bad thing, but I do believe it might have been Tommy, as he was giving me quite a lot of contact on the back of my car.
Yeah, the incidents in the race are still all up for investigation. Hopefully we have decisions made by Saturday, because these incidents will take some time to get through and be processed. But any last words from you, Robot?
Shout out to Henry Hoover at Crash Labs, and shout out to my mates Parrot. Maybe we'll get second.
Fair enough. Right, let's go on to our race winner, Voted Basher. Congratulations, and how was that race for you?
Thank you. I am buzzing, seeming that was one out of one. First race for New Horizons, and then go on and win it. I just feel bad for Collins after being crashed out of the race on the final few laps. I did feel bad for him. But overall, yeah, and then the incident with the Ferrari, with the lag, but
yeah. So with the incident with Collins, was there anything that maybe you think any driver was at fault, or do you think it was a racing incident?
I think it was just a racing incident. I didn't really get much of view, but we did knock a few times before, but I don't think it was any driver at fault. It
was such a shame though. You guys were having a fantastic battle all the way through that race.
Yeah.
And then there was that little incident with the Ferrari when you come to lap it. Did that actually happen on your screen, or was that just desync from my end?
No, I saw it because I came alongside the Ferrari, and then all of a sudden it was just on top of my car, and then I span round and then I just see it going along on its roof. But yeah, I think it might have just been down to desync, but yeah.
I think it was more likely to be Charlie Whiting trying to cause us a safety car from beyond the grave. Yeah. Any last words from either of you two?
No, we'll just go to you.
Yeah, so that's actually been, despite the low numbers, that's actually been, again, a half decent race for New Horizons around Bahrain. This track always delivers for us. We should be back next week, a little bit of a later start time. Track is Baku with our shortened calendar. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time in Baku.